Hi, welcome back to YouTube, Sue Miller 1947. It's been a while since I put a video out, so I'm going to show you how I make bread. What I do is I make the bread in the bread machine, let it rise and everything. I put it on the dough setting, and then I cook it in the oven. Okay, here we go. Let's make some bread. First of all, I like to make bread or anything that uses flour out of non-GMO flour. Now, if you look at your flour in the store, you will find one that's from Montana that says non-GMO. So that's the way I do it. I just don't want to be eating flour made out of pig genes. I don't know, whatever they put in the GMO. But no, I use the non-GMO and they label it, so that's kind of cool. 2-cup measuring cup, which makes life easier. So I get the flour in 1 cup and pour it in here. Because if you just dig the flour out from the package and just put it like that, it compacts the flour, and you don't want to do that. You want it kind of light. So, yeah, there's 2 cups of whole wheat. Two cups of white, unbleached white flour. Before I start, I put 2 teaspoons of bread machine yeast, or whatever kind of yeast you have. I don't think it matters. But I put 2 teaspoons of bread machine yeast in a plate to warm up, because I keep my yeast in the refrigerator. 2 teaspoons of salt. This is the pan for the machine, the bread machine. It's a 2-blader, which I really like. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm using canola oil. So, 1, 2, and then I will put 1.5 cups of lukewarm water. So how I make my lukewarm water is I heat up the water and I put some milk. It depends on how hot the water is. I'll use half and half water, half milk. I can see if the water is up to the 1.5 mark. A little more. So, yeah, I'm very technical. Oh yeah. So if you put your finger in there and it feels warm but not hot, but not cold, then it's good to go. I guess, what do they say, 80 degrees to 100 degrees, something like that. So you've got some room there's wiggle room. The water milk mixture in the pan. And then I put the sugar in the pan. 3 tablespoons of sugar. Tablespoons. And the reason I put the sugar in the pan with the water is because I was doing it the other way around. I was putting the sugar with the flour and the salt in the pan, and the bread was not rising. So when I turned it around the other way, it cured that problem. So now what I'll do is I put the flour in on top, and I smooth it out, make a little dent, a little hole, and then I put the yeast in the hole. I tap it down 3 times, and I put it in the bread machine. I am not advertising any particular bread machine. This just happens to be the one I have, and I don't know if they still make them. I don't even know if they still make bread machines. But so now I'm going to put it in here. It goes in really easily, and I set it. Here's the dough thing. I don't know if you can see. Let me try to get you closer. I know what. I'll take you off of here. I'll get you off your stand, and then I can show you better. There, I think you can see that. So what I do is here, you go to the bread select, and you see that little arrow moves around, and it's on dough. I could cook it in here, but this formula that I have, it grows too big, so it hits the top of the bread machine. So anyway, when I cook it, I'll show you what else I do. So then I press start, and it starts right away. It's just going to mix a little bit. It'll go slow at first, and then it'll start mixing really fast. So it's not heating up or anything, it's just mixing. So in an hour and 40 minutes, the dough will be ready to take out of there. And pretty much that's it. There you go. It's mixing away. Okay, the time is up, an hour and 40 minutes. So I take out the dough. It's risen, so I take it out, and I will separate this and make a bread. Let's see how much. About a third. So I just separate it. So I will cover this with oil, this pan, and I'm going to cover the bread, just to keep the moisture in, with another bread pan. And now I'm going to spread the dough out for the pizza. I just start working it, pulling it. And sometimes I'll take this roller and roll it out. When I roll it out with a roller, I have to wait longer, excuse me, to let it all rise. It takes a little time to roll this out. So just press it out, roll it out any way you can get it to fit your pan. It likes to shrink back up, so I press the Try to press it on the sides where there's no oil and it'll stick there. But likes to shrink back up. I don't know. As you see, I am not a professional. But the pizza is edible and it's good. So it doesn't matter. Professional, not professional. It's going to be a good pizza. Okay, so we'll let it rise and then I'll be back. They're yellow tomatoes and they're very crisp. They were late tomatoes, which I kind of was worried because I didn't know there were yellow tomatoes. I didn't remember I planted yellow tomatoes. And I thought, oh gosh, these tomatoes are not ripening. And so I finally realized that they are ripe. They're yellow tomatoes. So what I'm doing is I'm removing the seeds. I just cut them and either squeeze the seeds out. These are very strong tomato. I just dig the seeds out. And I'm going to try planting these seeds next year and see if I get any more yellow tomatoes. But they're a real strong tomato and crisp. Very nice. And I'm very happy I have them because they have good taste, good flavor. And like I said, it's December, middle of December almost, and I still have fresh tomatoes. And even though I picked them, what was that, 2 months ago? Or was it November? I think it was a month ago. Well, anyway, right before it froze. They still have their flavor, they still have their texture. So I'm slicing these tomatoes, which I'm going to put on the pizza. I'm going to shred some cheese. So I have, this is Jack and cheddar, a Jack and cheddar combination cheese. So you go one way, then I don't go back, because then it rounds out the cheese, and so I'm just, I don't know, just try to calculate how much I'm going to need. Sometimes I make too much, sometimes I don't make enough. So now I'm just using Jack cheese, and because I like to have a combination. Sometimes if I don't have tomato sauce, I will use that pepper cheese and only sliced tomatoes. And the pepper cheese gives the flavor. It gives all the spices, and I don't have to add any spices. Where if I didn't have pepper cheese, I would have to add oregano and salt and pepper and all those spices to give the pizza some flavor. Okay, so I think that's enough cheese. Add some green olives. Not too many. Yeah, that's enough. And some homemade tomato sauce. I set the temperature on the oven to 400 degrees. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pizza dough in the oven. I'm going to cook the pizza for 10 minutes. When it comes out, I will put all the cheese and all the rest of the stuff on it and cook it for 10-15 more minutes until it's done. Been cooking for 10 minutes, and take it out. So you see it's not completely cooked. So Now I put the sauce. I start with the outside and then spread it in because, like I say, I don't like it. I like the dough to be cooked, not mushy. And pizza has a tendency to make for the dough to be mushy. So, and this way I get all the dough. I get all the sauce on the edges. And then it's just a matter of the cheese. Now if I didn't have the sauce, I would put the tomatoes. So I try to do this fairly fast. I'm not delicate, as you can tell. Not a delicate cook. But, I don't know if you guys know this, but I hate to cook. Well, I don't hate it, I just don't. I'd rather somebody else do it. Okay? But, okay, so I just put the tomatoes and now put a little, because a little salt on top, and just to help the tomatoes cook a little easier. And I'm going to put a little, I have olive oil in here, and just sprinkle some olive oil on there. Not too much. I have the olives, the green olives. You can use black olives, whatever you have. Even I put pickles. Okay, now time to go in the oven. We'll start at 15 minutes. And then check. It depends on your oven. You could check at 10 minutes. But my oven lets me cook it for 15 minutes. So that would be 25 minutes all total. Or if it's not done, it'll go up to 30 minutes all total. The pizza is done. Oh. There you have it. There's the pizza. So all the recommendations that I've heard is you wait 5 minutes and then you cut it. So we'll do that. And meanwhile, I haven't forgotten about the bread. So I will reduce the temperature to 350. And cook the bread. Okay, I have the bread here. Whoops. Oh, it raised. So, they see how it raised? So, I'm going to cook the bread at 350 for 30 minutes. And then I have bread and pizza. So we'll have bread and pizza for a couple days. Yum. Okay, the bread is done. And it looks like it turned out pretty good. So the crust is nice and hard. The crust softens up after after it cools off. I put it in a plastic bag, or I cover it with towels. And yeah, there you have it. Pizza with fresh tomatoes, tomato sauce, 3 cheeses, and olives. So there you have how I make bread and pizza. There you have it. Oh, beautiful pizza. Cooked at home. It's really not hard to cook a pizza at home. Thank you for coming to YouTube Sue Miller 1947. Bye.